So Satvik,
Hi, Sudhir.
hi. Talk about why small, medium-sized businesses make this big mistake of running out of cash, running out of capital. Why don't they seem to plan their finances well ahead of time before starting a business? What do you think?
Okay, in my experience of observing small and medium-sized businesses over the years, for some reason in India, people do not like to look at numbers, which is very, very, it's mind-boggling to be very honest. Because if I am putting in a certain amount of money, I need to figure out how am I going to recover it, right? Why are we doing business? We are going to put in a bunch of money. We are going to earn more than that. That's as simple as that. That's business. One amazing thing that's common across is the passion, right? Everybody who wants to set up a business is really passionate about the kind of business they want to set up.
Yeah.
And they pour in their heart out and pour in the money out also. People do not like to plan how much time it is going to take me to be able to recover the capital that I'm going to put in right at the beginning. Now, in most cases, people should be able to recover their investment values by 1 or 2 years max. Anything more than that, it's an unsustainable business. For which you should be planning, or one should be planning, I think like easily 6 months before the business begins.
Right.
How much money am I going to put in? How much money does should this business make every day, every month, so that every year, every quarter, and then every year, to be able to make up for the amount that I am putting in right now.
Perfect.
Seems like too much to ask for some reason, which is probably one of the major reasons. Like we see this in Bangalore every day, right? There is a cafe, there is a new pub and a bar coming up in Indiranagar or in Church Street every day.
Yeah.
But 3 months down the line, it doesn't exist. Many of them don't exist.
Right.
I mean, of course, there are good businesses, there are bad businesses.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money, lot of effort, lot of resources, lot of, passion that goes for a toss. So how much ever difficult it might seem, but it is very important to look at numbers.
You have to do that.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you. Small, medium-sized businesses, typically they don't have the money, rely on personal saving. They liquidate that and they start a business. Is that a good idea? Is there a way that small, medium-sized businesses can really look at funding?
One needs to be, especially when running a small business, one needs to be very careful. You are not a startup. Most of the startups, to be honest, 90 to 95% are cash burning businesses. They have raised funds from private equity and a bunch of other places. They are not Zomato, Zepto, Swiggy. None of them are profit making businesses. They hope to make profit at a future date, and they have their methods. But we are not running though at that scale, right? We are much smaller. Basically, we're talking about two different kinds of businesses. One is a service business and a product business. Service business doesn't require a lot of capital investment right at the beginning. The capital there is their own time. That's the cheapest kind of capital. It becomes tricky when it's a product business. You have to put in capital. It's a non-negotiable. I have to create a product to be able to sell that. Mistakes that happen are because so much capital goes in from personal savings, money from family, from friends. When you take such a big risk, the anxiety to be able to recover that is also very high. You tend to make wrong decisions more than right ones. Starting really small is a very good idea.
Yeah.
The advantage of starting small is that, see, any business, you are going to make mistakes.
Absolutely. It's an evolution.
I was speaking to a friend today. I was at Konsu in Indiranagar. And she was telling me how Konsu started as a really small 2-table cafe. Now, if you have visited Konsu in Indiranagar, it's a massive.
I wouldn't have imagined.
Now, you need to also give the time for yourself to make those many mistakes. That's the only way you're going to build up a business. I mean, if somebody, can build a business without mistakes, I don't know who that person is. So, I mean, just to put it in a nutshell, have a decent amount of working capital. Also have somebody who advises you on how to work with that capital. Especially if it's a business like, let's say, a cafe, right? Banks give you working capital.
Oh, it?
Very competitive rate. There is, overdraft,
Mm.
right? You can use how much ever you want on that day, in that month, and pay the interest only on that
Interesting.
and move on. So to kind of have systems, especially financial systems in place that can help you make less mistakes, smaller mistakes at least, so that you are not burning too much cash.
And you slowly, successfully move forward so that you're happier and you
Absolutely.
achieve what you want.
Absolutely.
You're the co-founder of Atmiya, and Atmiya I have known from the last 3 years that you're such a wonderful organization, and I've seen that you've helped so many small, medium and large size businesses in tax planning, investment planning and financial advisory. So considering that, could you share some experiences for small and medium sized businesses?
When we do tax planning for businesses, ultimately it's the balance sheet, profit and loss statement.
Right.
Last line of the profit and loss statement is what you are working towards, and you want it to be in plus. Okay, balance sheet in the sense that everything is mixed up. You don't know what kind of expenses are going in. Hence, you're not able to kind of figure out the profit margins properly.
Where is the gap?
Where is the gap? Where can you cut down the expense?
Got it.
Right? Now, the left side is the expenses, right side is the income.
Right.
It's a very balanced act of turning these nozzles here and there so that this one is under control as much as possible, and this one keeps expanding. And to be able to do that balancing act, you have to get involved in that.
Right.
I have been very lucky because my father has been a tax consultant for over 40 years. First thing we do is we help them, figure out their incomes and expenses, which is the balance sheet. Now, once you look at the balance sheet, then the next step is investment planning. It can't be like, oh, Dasara came, I have to give bonuses.
You have to plan it well ahead of time.
Yes, this Dasara, I have to think about next Dasara.
Right.
I have 400 employees or 40 employees or 4 employees, whatever it is. My organization pays bonus. And I have to plan for that from this Dasara. And how can I do that? There are various ways of doing it. It's not rocket science.
Sure.
Right? It is overwhelming because in our country, financial literacy is very bad. But once you get into it, it's a very simple and very interesting process. That's how we help.
Amazing.
Small.
And plus, you have these workshops every month in Bangalore, and a lot of them come, they learn about how to plan their financial future. That's amazing what you're doing. Thank you so much. You're building this new initiative in Bangalore called the Bangalore Finance Club. It's a very exciting space to be in. What is the motivation behind that? And how do you think small, medium-sized businesses can involve themselves in such an initiative?
Bangalore Finance Club is an extremely selfish initiative. I run a medium-sized business, and I want to learn from those who have successfully done that over the last, decade or two.
Right.
Just by listening to them. I mean, of course, I can have a one-on-one conversation, but the kind of conversations we'll have in an event, it's very, very, way richer. Because most of these businesses that we kind of, business owners we bring in are, people who have done really well in their fields. There is something to pick up in each conversation. Right. Last time we were speaking to Subodh from Atta Galatta, and it was like a crash course in how to run a successful bookstore. How do you get a niche? What is the gap in the industry? How do you bridge that gap? And how do you do it well in a structured way? All of these are true for any industry, right? How do I make this cafe very, unique? Right? So we want to do this more often.
Amazing. And I also feel that community will amplify what you're trying to do. Right? And that's why communities are important. And small, medium-sized businesses should come into these communities, learn from each other, and amplify what they're trying to do through the community.
Absolutely. Absolutely.